implementation phases of corporate reorganizations. Crow Jamaica assists businesses and other advisors in developing and implementing efficient, cost-effective legal structures and business operating models. Our team can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email people@crowjm.com. Website www.crowjm.com.
Hey.
A good discussion.
We did.
Yes. There's a lot more to talk about because, I personally do believe that discriminatory pay is the way to go based on performance and output. We have to get to that level of measuring output if we're going to fix the system. Because we're not going to fix the system by relying on these bureaucrats at the Ministry of Education, because that has been a perennial problem that has been there.
There are two big issues for me. We can talk about all of this till the cows come home, but at the end of the day, when these students leave fifth form, when they go out to become productive members of society and they either are underqualified for work or they can't find a job, the alternative is the ugly reality that the country faces day in, day out. And when you listen back to Carl Samuda saying proudly, $11 billion has been dealt out to the schools. What is the end result of that $11 billion spend of taxpayers' monies? And if you recognize that you're not getting the kind of outcome out of the teaching and learning, something serious has to change. I also have a difficulty with, as much as we talk about STEM, the reality is the aptitude of some of our young people, whether it's because them head just not cut out for it or because of the deficiencies with how them coming out of primary school, STEM is not for everybody. And we need to recognize the value in some of those other methods of earning an income. Enough of what people turn dance and sing and musician. How serious are we about the music and arts programs in some of these non-traditional high schools in a way that will have you leave and not just boogo yaga up on a mic, but make it as a business?
I said to someone the other day, someone very prominent in the entertainment industry, that the problem with our music is that it has always been just a hustle. We don't formalize it into a business. So everyone else around the world will formalize into a business and make a lot of money out of it. But for us, it's a hustle. And that's how we treat most things. Even the construction of the roads look like a hustle.
And there are institutions like Edna Manley, but take it younger, Alpha Boys Home, who teach, who are the examples to show that we can teach this thing as a professional industry, and you don't need to be 40 years old to learn it. We can teach it at the high school. If we're going to put out tradesmen and give them hard courses, don't just give it to them to be able to check a box and say we did this. Is it meaningful education that's going to make a difference and turn the country around?
And have value attached to it when you come out.
Absolutely.
You can earn from it.
We have a lot to fix, folks, and we have a lot to talk about. We need to take a break today. Thank you so much to all the people who made the show happen. Thanks to our sponsors, our very hard-working production crew. You are superheroes. Until next week, I'm Patria K.
And I'm Dennis Chung.
On Point was brought to you by Crow Jamaica.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life surrounds art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access. Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV welcomes you to the launch of Weddings JA. I'm your host, Amita Prasadweb, and today we're here in the gardens of the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Please stay tuned for highlights.
So Shangri-La Flowers and Gifts is a wedding company and an all-rounded wedding company. We're located in Montego Bay and Ocho Rios. So what we do is wedding decor, wedding florals, wedding rental, and also wedding planning. So really a one-stop shop for your wedding as well. So you guys
Safari, Turnout, and the other booths.
Well, actually, it looks really well. I'm glad that the turnout, despite, weather had set to be rainy. So I'm glad with the turnout as well. And the booths are actually looking really well. So we're happy that we had sponsored this amazing event.
So talk to us about Tent City. What is it that you guys do?
We're a tent company, and what we do is rent different tents for different occasions, weddings, party, graduations, you name it.
Talk to us about the relationship between Tent City and Weddings JA.
Well, we're one of the sponsors, and they call us and we partnered with them, and that's why we're here today.
What's next for Tent City?
Well, what's next for Tent City is that we have new and upcoming tents, and for the December period, as we're here now, this is one of our new tents. It's a skylight. We have it here just to show the customers to see if they'll take it, because it's kind of different, you understand, and just to showcase our new tent.
I think when people think of tents, they think of one type of tent. Can you give us some examples of the different types of tents that Tent City offers?
Well, our tents are white, really, and mostly high peak, and we have different sizes. The sizes vary from 10 by 10, and we can go as far as 40 by 100.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome fashion from Lust Yash Design DJ. Let's go. Make some noise for Lust Yash Fashion. So where can we find you? Take it down.
All right, so you can check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Lust Yash Designs, or you can email us at lustyashdesigns@gmail.com. Number 873-7319. Thank you.
Talk to us about Sparkles Productions.
Well, we're a production company, but we do other stuff as well. We do weddings. So not only do we do the sound and the flooring and the lighting and the trussing, we do decor, we do flowers, we do invitations, we do photography. So we are a one-stop. So I know a lot of people think Sparkles Productions, they think of big stage shows, they think of music, they think of sound. But we do have a department for weddings. And because we come with everything, we are able to give better costings.
You're here today as a sponsor at Weddings JA. Talk to us about that relationship.
Sure. Well, Renisha called me and said, check out our new site, and I did, and I liked it. I like the idea of everybody in the wedding industry coming together. And so when she called me and said she's doing a launch, I said, yes, count me in. I'll be there. I like it. I like the networking. And I like to see what everybody else is doing.
All right, so talk to us about your business, 81 Sound Entertainment.
All right, my business. Originally, I'm an event promoter. I've been so for probably like the better part of 20 years. Made the decision about 3 years ago to branch out into service provision. Here am I, 81 Sound Entertainment. So I've used all the experience that I've garnered in my almost 2 decades and turned it into service provision and, and to provide quality service. So that's basically it.
Talk to us about the relationship between Weddings JA and 81 Sound.
All right, Weddings JA now. When they originally started their promotion, I liked the idea of having a wedding directory. And I like the concept of launching that directory and their service in the form of a wedding show. And I approached them and said, hey, I'm willing to work with you guys. And they accepted, and I'm gracious for their acceptance and for the opportunity. And we worked together, and we created an experience. As you can see by the turnout, they did a wonderful job where marketing is concerned and the layout and so forth. And, I'm just grateful for the opportunity to work with them.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Now, the aim of this competition is called professing your love. It's called what? Professing your love. What is it called? Professing your love. It's pretty simple. The couple that professes their love the best through kiss wins. All right, so you're gonna all start after 3. So face your partner. All right. Take on a hand out on a pocket. Remember, you know, and this is gonna last for 15 seconds. Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm trying to be as well as you. Your dresses look stunning. Don't they look stunning, ladies? Come on, make some noise, ladies. All right, so tell us more about your company and where we can find you and all your contact information.
All right, so it's Bliss Bridal Boutique. We are located at 7 to 9 Arden Road in our new big, nice, fabulous location. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook at Bliss Bridal JA. Our telephone number is 876-622-2547, or for ease, it's actually 876-62-BLISS.
All right, talk to us about Victoria House Events Limited.
All right, Victoria House Events Limited is located at 11 Lindsay Crescent. What we do all year functions, but we mainly do weddings. We do from a pin to an anchor. The only thing we don't do is find the gentleman, but we find everything else: the dresses, the cake, the food, the pastor, the location, just about everything.
Today you're here at Weddings JA launch. Talk to us about your experience here today.
It has been an awesome day. Beyond my wildest dream. We had so many persons coming in. It was just busy all day, all morning. people just keep coming. But it was good. It's a good experience. And for sure, we'll be in this next year.
WeddingsJA.com is Jamaica's premier online wedding directory, offering an impressive list of over 1,000 Jamaica-based wedding vendors. She has a bachelor's in entertainment management and a master's in marketing. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the founder, the CEO, the woman herself, Renisha James. Make some noise. She's the reason why we're here today. And to have the symbolic launching of the website, we're going to be having the cutting of the ribbon. Are you ready? So we're going to count down from 5. And you're going to count with me. Ready? 5. Shout it. 5. Round of applause. Round of applause. All right, Renisha. Tell us more about the vision behind WeddingsJA.com.
Well, you know, people are always getting married, and any bride-to-be will tell you that planning a wedding is no easy feat. So, this website was created to make it absolutely easy for the bride to find everything that she could ever need. I mean, we have honeymoon, makeup artists, venues, photographers, decorators, rings, dresses, DJs, MCs, you name it, everything is on WeddingsJA.com. So ladies and grooms to be, you can, in the comfort of your bedroom or your living room, just go online and find everything that you're looking for with one click. Isn't that amazing? For brides to be, to find everything that they really needed to plan their wedding successfully with ease. And so I thought that this would be a really, really good thing to introduce to the market to fill that gap.
The day is almost over. What's the feedback been like so far?
It's been amazing. People are like, is this going to be an annual event? This is so awesome. I really had fun. Like, it's been so much positive feedback, so I'm really happy.
Now that your website has launched, what's the next step?
The next step is for wedding businesses all across Jamaica to get listed so that the brides-to-be and the grooms-to-be can find them easily, because that's what Weddings JA is all about. In addition to brides signing up on the website, we have discounts from our vendors that brides can also get when they sign up. And it's really just to let everyone know that we are open for business. Log on to the website, brides, find everything that you need, vendors, get listed.
And there you have it, the launch of Weddings JA. I've been your host, Amita Prasad Web, and thank you for tuning in to Business Access TV, serious about business. Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. Growing up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got the chance to do CXC or graduate from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people living in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs.
They need more opportunities, like to go back to school to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
Push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do. Give them startup capital to start their business. Invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The Poverty Reduction Program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goal.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here, because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service, and also to gain experience in the working world, and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run, it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the whole program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
Because of our levels of vulnerability and our levels of exposure, it is important that we're always putting in measures to ensure that the country is prepared.
As the magazine unfolds, ODPEM's Acting Director General Richard Thompson will share measures being put in place in the event Jamaica is impacted by a hurricane this season. Stick around for the details, plus how the experts track and measure weather systems, and a new development underway in Montego Bay. All that and so much more in today's Jamaica Magazine. Hello, I'm Adrian Atkinson.
We want a productive Jamaica. We all are productive Jamaicans. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity is the way to go for all us Jamaicans. Small business, big business, old and young, we are tell every woman and man. We want growth and prosperity for a better nation with a building plan. So we can build our product and sell our product and put more money in our hand. Our economy can rise to a level and build a better nation. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity to move forward on this land. Productivity, that's the way to go, we should understand. Productivity.
Productivity, Pathway to Prosperity. A message brought to you by the Jamaica Productivity Center, a department of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, September 5. A state of public emergency, SOE, is now in effect for the entire parishes of Clarendon and St. Catherine. A SOE gives the Joint Security Forces extraordinary powers to stop, search, and detain. Prime Minister Andrew Holness made the announcement this morning during a press conference at Jamaica House.
This proclamation of a state of public emergency shall remain in force unless revoked for a period of 14 days or for such longer periods, not exceeding 3 months, as both houses of parliament may determine by a resolution supported by a 2/3 majority of the members of each house.
Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says the high level of crime in Clarendon and St. Catherine since the start of the year is at a scale and nature where it greatly endangers public safety. He says Clarendon now has the second highest number of murders, reaching 100 since the start of the year. The St. Catherine South Police Division has recorded 91, while 66 murders have been committed in the St. Catherine North Police Division.
We feel it is our duty to stand between those who would do harm and those in danger. Our objectives, therefore, are to establish and maintain a period of low violent crime in the volatile communities within these parishes, to curtail the free movement of criminal gangs and weapons and deny them the opportunity to commit violent crimes, to disrupt criminal
Westmoreland and Hanover have recorded reductions in murders since the start of the tri-parish states of emergency. The murder rate for St. Andrews South also declined by 75%. In relation to the seizure of illegal firearms and ammunitions, Commissioner Anderson says 73 guns and 4,500 rounds of ammunition were recovered in St. James since January.
This is indicative of a lot of the work that's being done under the ambit of other police work being done under the ambit of the states of emergency, including community interventions, including building out our intelligence network, and including the investigations that are being done.
2 teams left the island today to assist with disaster recovery efforts in the Bahamas. The country was hit this week by Category 5 Hurricane Dorian, causing severe flooding and extensive damage to structures. Prime Minister Andrew Holness says an advance team as well as a full disaster response team were deployed for a month.
That is the team that we had sent to Dominica, and they are a very well trained, very well experienced disaster assistance and recovery team. So Jamaica will have presence in the Bahamas, and we will be at the disposal of the Bahamian government if they require any further assistance.
Chief of Defense Staff Lieutenant General Rocky Meade says the team is being led by Lieutenant Colonel Godfrey Sterling.
We are prepared to send our Coast Guard vessel with additional supplies for sustainment of our troops and some relief supplies for the Bahamians. And once we get there, we will get into details of what we'll do. But certainly some of the immediate things would be to help in setting up temporary bases for not just us, but the Bahamian Coast Guard to function from, to assist in additional rescues, to assist in recovery, to help with route clearances, to help with logistics arrangements, including movement and distribution of supplies.
Citizens now have greater access to legal aid information and resources with the launch of the Legal Aid Council's website on Monday. The website provides information on where and what times persons can go for legal aid, as well as the lawyers available. The schedule of the Mobile Justice Unit is also available on the site, and persons can make requests for the unit to visit their communities. Minister of Justice Delroy Chuck says the launch of the Legal Aid website is a move towards achieving a first-class justice system.
Today's launch of the website is a technological leap for the Legal Aid Council that will have a profound effect on the ordinary people of Jamaica who want to access critical information to get quality legal representation.
$191 million will be spent to carry out rehabilitative works under the Rosetown Integrated Infrastructure Project in Kingston. Cabinet has approved the contract by the Jamaica Social Investment Fund, JSIF, for Contracts Enterprises Limited to carry out the works. The disclosure was made by Minister with Oversight for Information, Carl Samuda, during Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing at Jamaica House.
The project will see the installation of 3.54 kilometers of 100 millimeter PVC distribution water mains, including 5 hydrants and service laterals to lots, and the PVC sanitary sewage in pipes. The roadway will also be redone. Works are expected to last on this project for 10 months.
Cabinet also gave approval for the construction of the new Port Maria Fire Station in St. Mary. The $217.5 million project will be built by Marshall Construction Company Limited and managed by the Jamaica
Dormitories as well as administrative and training facilities.
And finally, the National Craft Policy and the Visa Policy and Action Plan were approved by Cabinet. Minister with Responsibility for Information, Carl Samuda, says the Visa Policy and Action Plan is meant to streamline the governance and regulatory framework for the issuance of visas.
The policy is expected to result in improved traveler experience and relieve the administrative burden on missions that currently issue visas. It will also allow for more flexibility, such as changes to the visa requirements, reduced documentation, standardized cost, and limited personal appearance at overseas missions and honorary consuls.
As it relates to the National Craft Policy, Minister Samuda says the revised document is to be tabled in Parliament as a white paper. The policy was first brought before the House in 2018 as a green paper, following which a final consultation session was held with stakeholders during a policy validation workshop.
Recommendations by stakeholders were considered and incorporated into the white paper. The modifications focused on strengthening some of the objectives and strategies to ensure clear alignment with the policy issues. There was also a revision of the language to reduce ambiguities, specifically the replacement of craft, visual arts, and souvenirs with craft products.
According to Minister Samuda, the policy aims to streamline the craft industry through improvements in quality, variety, value, sales, customer satisfaction, and profits. The policy will also promote greater local identity of finished craft and souvenirs, innovation, better packaging, regulation and production, and distribution facilities. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
To practice the 4 R's of water conservation. Always remember to reduce your use of water wherever possible. Replace water wasting devices with water savings devices. Reuse water wherever possible. And wherever leaks are found, please repair them and repair them quickly.
Don't delay. Practice the 4 R's of water conservation today.
The Urban Development Corporation broke ground in February, and work is progressing steadily on the state-of-the-art closed Harbour Beach Park in Montego Bay. We have an update.
Travelers using the Howard Cook and Jimmy Cliff Boulevards in Montego Bay, St. James will notice a new addition to the beachfront property popularly known as Dump-Up Beach, where temporary fencing has been erected. This is because construction works for the multi-million-dollar closed Harbour Beach Park development has started. The Urban Development Corporation, UDC, and its primary development partner, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, broke ground for the $1.29 billion development in February. Funding is provided by the Government of Jamaica, TEF, the Inter-American Development Bank, and the St. James Municipal Corporation.
The Closed Harbour Beach Park is a project that the UDC management and staff are very excited about. It's really our flagship project for this financial year. It addresses the wide range of services and interventions we'd like to make in a sustainable way, in that it addresses everything, the economic, the social, and the environmental concerns in the area.
We were pleased to partner with the UDC on this project. 16 acres with the beachfront right in the center of Montego Bay. We felt we could do something special with that, and that's exactly what we're doing.
The 16-acre property is being transformed into a recreational space that will operate as a free-access licensed public beach and a multi-purpose park for residents of and visitors to Montego Bay. Construction started in May 2019 and the project is progressing well in keeping with the schedule. So far, structural buildings for the kiosks are up and are at the stage of rough casting and finishing.
In total, we have 8 kiosks. We have already erected all 8 with only 2 roof slabs remaining to be poured.
In addition, work is being done on the bathroom and changing facilities, as well as a main building that is being prepared for roofing. The building should be completed by December 2019. Construction has also started on the perimeter fencing that runs along Howard Cook and Jimmy Cliff Boulevards. Contractors for the closed Harbour Beach Park is M&M Construction Limited.
We have started our infrastructure works. We have sewage work presently installed, not complete, but very advanced. We have stormwater system that has started as well. We have also what you call a promenade, which includes a seat wall. We have done excavation, probably say about 25% of that section.
Closed Harbour will, upon completion, will have a 700-meter jogging trail. It will have a futsal or beach football area, beach volleyball, kiddies play area, multi-purpose courts, as well as a multi-purpose event space.
The UDC carries out regular inspections and holds meetings to ensure the project is being executed according to design specifications and quality, as well as within the expected timeline. Water quality monitoring is also being conducted.
The entire process is to ensure that the quality of the water is maintained before the start of the project as well as at the end, so that it ensures that the people of Montego Bay have pristine waters to swim in.
Simultaneous with the development of the closed Harbour Beach Park is the rehabilitation of groins along the area. This is to protect the shoreline from erosion and to support the sustainable development of the hip strip now called Jimmy Cliff Boulevard, as well as Howard Cook Boulevard. The UDC also manages the Walter Fletcher Beach, which is open to the public.
The development of closed harbour is an important next step in really bringing new urban interventions to Montego Bay. We are very pleased to bring this together. Construction is underway, it's going well, and we look forward to delivering and opening this park in 2020.
The UDC making development happen in Western Jamaica. To learn more about the work of the Urban Development Corporation, call 876-656-8031 or visit their website at www.udcja.com. You may also follow them on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram, or visit their information center on the ground floor, Kingston Mall, downtown Kingston.
We are in the peak of the hurricane season. This point, between September and October, is when some of the strongest systems historically have been formed. It takes precision by weather experts to track these systems in order to give us accurate data. Take a look.
Hurricane Matthew is still a Category 4 hurricane on the Saffir-Simpson scale. It is continuing to move northward, which takes it closer and closer to Jamaican waters. More information is coming out from the Hurricane Center.
The Atlantic hurricane season runs from June 1 through to November 30. These dates historically describe the period when most tropical cyclones form in the Atlantic basin. A number of tools are used, like satellites, radars, and computer models, to determine where a hurricane will go and how intense it will be. But a critical part of forecasting is done by the specially equipped NOAA aircrafts called Hurricane Hunters, which collect data through high-flying meteorological stations.
That will be transmitted back to the Hurricane Center and then made available to all the region, including Jamaica.
WC-130J Hercules is a high-wing, medium-range aircraft used in weather reconnaissance missions. This plane is configured to penetrate tropical disturbances and storms, as well as hurricanes and winter storms, and get data on the movement, size, and intensity of these systems. The NOAA Gulfstream model, nicknamed Gonzo, is a high-tech, high-flying, and high-speed twin-engine jet that flies around and over developing tropical cyclones to create a detailed picture of the surrounding upper atmosphere. It has a range of nearly 4,000 nautical miles and a cruising altitude of 45,000 feet. The Lockheed model, nicknamed Kermit, is in a class by itself. Formulated with unique scientific instrumentation, radars, and recording systems, the Kermit is able to do horizontal and vertical scans of storms.
So we'll have two meteorologists sit up front there. The person in the left seat is usually verifying the dropson data that we're collecting. The person on the right is helping with navigation. The station behind that is where our radar operator sits. So we've got a radar in the nose and a radar in the tail collecting data for us. This is where all of our data systems reside. And then back here is where we're actually dropping the sondes. So we'll prepare one of the sondes here, pass it over to that guy. He'll prepare it there just so we have a backup just in case this computer goes dead or that computer goes dead. Once the sonde is ready to go, close the door.
Cutting through the eye wall of a hurricane, lashed by extreme winds, dazzling rain, and fierce updrafts and downdrafts before entering the calm of the storm, probing every wind and pressure change during the course of 8 to 10 hours. So why aren't these aircrafts torn apart during these flights? Well, they are generally not destroyed by strong winds while in flight. It's the sheer or sudden change in horizontal or vertical winds that can destroy an aircraft or cause its loss of control. That's why NOAA Hurricane Hunter aircraft don't fly through tornadoes, but they are always monitoring for hotspots of severe weather and shear that they can often identify on radar and avoid if it's too severe.
We are always in direct communication with the National Hurricane Center. As soon as they get the information, we speak to them, they tell us what is happening, and so when we are ready to issue a warning, if we feel that we are threatened, we communicate that to the Hurricane Center. We are ready to issue a warning, what do you think? And we take that decision and they make it public to all the countries, not only in the region, but even wider than that through the internet and other means.
Yo, this is We're committed to reducing the impact of disasters occurring in Jamaica. We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. But everybody have a role to play, so make we work together and follow the plan. Whether rich or poor or where you come from, hurricanes affect everyone, so be prepared. Prevention is better than cure. Be prepared. Listen to ADPEM. A message from the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management.
Our neighbor, the Bahamas, was hit this week by Category 5 Hurricane Dorian. Preliminary images show severe flooding and damage to structures. Here in Jamaica, we have to be prepared to respond to any possible threat from a hurricane. Acting Director General of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, Richard Thompson, shares those details.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Enthros Campbell. Jamaica's preparedness to respond to natural disasters such as hurricanes, floods, or earthquakes is critical to our recovery process. As such, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, has to ensure that efforts are strategically coordinated. On today's program, we look at some of the measures in place for the 2019 hurricane season with Acting Director General Richard Thompson. Mr. Thompson, we are in the hurricane season. What kind of season are we expecting?
Well, yes, we're in the hurricane season, and we all know that the hurricane season extends from June 1 to November 30th. Yes. Based on the prediction that came out of the National Hurricane Center, and what was given by our local Met Office, who works in close collaboration with the National Hurricane Center, we are expecting what is called a near normal season. So the meteorologists are saying that we're expecting roughly about 30% above. It could be 30% above normal or 30% below normal. The prediction for the season is for about 9 to 15 storms, 9 to 15 named storms, 4 to 8 to be hurricanes, and 2 to 4 to be major hurricane. You're talking about Cat 4, Cat 5. Just to ensure that the country is prepared. Yes. And preparedness is not just about the workings of the ODPEM. It's a comprehensive working across all the fabric and apparatus of the national system. And we work in close collaboration with the local authorities, the parish councils, the works agencies.
Tell me about some of the things that you have in place to in the event we are hit by a hurricane.
So a lot of it is a part is to ensure that your systems do work, and that you're exercising your system, and that persons have a clear picture, a clear operation picture of their roles and responsibilities. So yes, we would have a national store that we have supplies, your what we call comfort items, cots, blankets, you name that, some generators, GP tents, those kind of things that we have in store. And then the other agencies will be doing their work as well, ensuring that there's drain rehabilitation. We are doing a lot of work in the country as it relates to enhancing our road infrastructure, to ensure that our road infrastructure are robust enough that we don't have significant flooding, because those road infrastructure would have new and improved drain. That we're doing a national drainage plan that should look at new capacity, new size for drains, to ensure that there's not a lot of flooding in our urban space. So we have been doing a lot of that work. Yes. Enhancement in terms of the JDF, enhancement in terms of the Jamaica Fire Brigade, the Jamaica Fire Brigade. We have, on average, a little bit over 900 shelters nationally, and we do early in the season and as best as possible, sometime throughout the season, shelter assessment to determine whether we are keeping those that we have as shelters, and or we are taking out some that we have on the books now as shelters. And what normally happens is that a lot of our schools are used as shelters. One of the thinking behind that is because the schools should have a design capability and a capacity so that it can withstand a lot of events, because you know that it holds our most vulnerable population for a very long period of time.
Yes. When do you decide to open a shelter? When do you spring into action?
So once once we're activated, then and you have given all the notification, then you would expect that the shelters the shelter managers are activated, and they would try to, as best as possible, open the shelters, because they don't want to be trying to open a shelter during the event. Yes. Especially during a hurricane. You want to ensure that the shelters are open in advance. So once you're saying to persons, if you live in low-lying areas, you need to evacuate, you must have the shelters open for persons to go into the shelters.
Speak to Jamaica as it relates to us preparing ourselves.
Well, as I said, not seeing any rain is because we're in a drought. But as I said, it takes only one, so you have to ensure that there is constant preparation. Persons should ensure that they have their family disaster plan. Yeah. Not a lot of us look at that, to ensure that you have a family disaster plan, your family know where, if something major happened, where they should meet up, that you have as best as possible your supplies in home, you're checking your roofs. Know that it is a dry spell. Yes. You might not know if you have some kind of leakage, or you need to do some reinforcement or retrofitting of your roofs. Check for trees that are close in proximity to your homes. Do some prunings.
We have to wrap now, but it was a real pleasure speaking with you, and I guess we have to do another program.
Yes,
thank you
very much.
This has been Get the Facts with our guest, Richard Thompson, Acting Director General of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM. Until next time, I'm your host, Enthros Campbell. Take good care.
As we close today's show, we ask that you stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
My name is Christelle Harris. You're watching Business Access TV. Serious about business.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious.
Serious.
Serious about business.
The Mona School of Business and Management hosted its 4th business conference at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel, and Business Access TV was there to bring you the highlights. Stay tuned.
Welcome on behalf of the Mona School of Business and Management to our 4th biennial conference. We're here to discuss delivering on the promise of entrepreneurship, and it is critical at this juncture that Jamaica in particular and the rest of the Caribbean having gone through all sorts of structural and fiscal and monetary adjustments, these are necessary but not sufficient. And entrepreneurship is clearly one of the ways in which we will capitalize on a more robust financial platform that we have. And today we'll be looking both at research and examples from the Jamaica, the Caribbean, and the global audience. In that context, I would like to welcome all our visitors and presenters who have come from the Caribbean, the USA, and Europe, and I'd like to thank you for attending. We look forward to having very interesting conversations over the 3 days, and as has been our custom, to have generated research and publications arising out of the conference to advance knowledge. Our goal is to provide a link between the academy and the business community in a more direct way than other faculties and departments at the university. I therefore welcome not just this interaction between the school and the wider community, but we hope to use it as a springboard to forge even better partnerships.
I've noticed that the title of the opening plenary is Entrepreneurship, Innovation and Growth, Unlocking the Potential in the Jamaican Economy. So I presume that within that is the message that entrepreneurship and innovation have something to do with growth. And it's a fair assumption. And that is perhaps why we are being told by the Economic Growth Council to unleash our entrepreneurial spirit. We are being told by the World Bank to become more innovative. We're told by various members of the political directorate to take more risks and invest in newer areas. So it would appear that there is a growing perception that there is, in fact, a link between entrepreneurship and growth. The private sector organization of Jamaica and the Jamaica Bankers Association are finally reaching out to small and medium-sized entrepreneurs to get them to formalize their operations. So all of this is good. I think there's an energy that is starting. Unfortunately, that has happened before, but there is an energy that's starting that we need to keep going. And we need to understand that, or figure out whether it is a magic bullet or it is the beginning of a new paradigm that must be adopted by all of us across the board in order for us to secure mature development as a nation, as a society. I think we need to take a look at the historical context of our country so that we understand not only where we are or we got here, but we can try and use it to map where we're going. But before I do that, I just wanted to give a commercial plug for the efforts of the Jamaica Bankers Association and the member bankers for the initiative to allow access to finance and to encourage access to finance for the SMEs and the medium-sized businesses. It's important for us to understand that the current definition of an SME is a business entity having between 1 and 50 employees and an annual turnover of less than $150 million. So that is the spectrum of enterprises that we at the PSOJ and the JBA are trying to capture. And the aim is to bring greater awareness of this SME sector to the extremely numerous and detailed programs that the government's access to finance agenda has established since 2016. And also, we want to provide input and support for the adoption and the expansion of the access to finance program across most of the stakeholder sectors through a process of education, facilitation, and familiarization. So the project has two streams. It has the access to finance stream, and it has a reverse factoring program, which is being developed in conjunction with the BDJ to enable small businesses to better manage their receivables. Cash flow is extremely important to small businesses, and we need to assist them in their management of it and in their collection of their debt. So the hope of the program is to foster better relationships between the banks and the small businesses, to simplify the credit processes and to make them easier and more transparent for the small businesses. We want to train the MSMEs, which is the term, in formalizing, regularizing, and structuring their business processes, and to allow them to unlock additional capital to allow for their business expansion.
So as we contemplate how we can deliver on this promise of entrepreneurship in the Caribbean region, in our own Jamaican nation, I invite us to consider those factors which may possibly be standing in the way of us unlocking and unleashing our entrepreneurial potential. As a region and as a nation, we have a reputation of being a creativity powerhouse. We pride ourselves in our ability to come up with creative, original new ideas, and we often proudly hail our national mantras such as Tanya Han and Make Fashion, which speaks to our creative national problem-solving abilities, which allow us to turn any obstacle into an inventive opportunity. Simply put, we are just naturally creative, imaginative, and innovative people. And throughout our history, as a region and as a nation, our creative outputs and our ideas have always garnered global attention. However, in spite of our creative prowess, we seem to have failed to translate our ideas into generating high growth, high worth, high impact entrepreneurial ventures. And so I ponder the question, why do we think that is? Why is it that as a nation and as a region, we have been a plethora of creators in our island, but a dearth of successful entrepreneurs? So to examine this question, I invite us to consider the distinctions between the definitions of creativity and entrepreneurship. Now, the Webster Dictionary defines creativity as the ability to make new things and think of new ideas. That we do well. However, it defines entrepreneurship as an entrepreneur as one who organizes, manages, and assumes the risks of a business or an enterprise. Risks. This distinction between these two definitions is important because while we as Jamaicans are naturally creative people, we need to consider the question, are we naturally entrepreneurial? Are we naturally risk takers and risk makers, or are we risk averse? In the results of the indices from the Global Resilience Index, which ranks 130 countries around the world by the risk and resilience of their business environments, based on certain factors such as economic indicators, risk factors, and supply chain issues, Jamaica has consistently ranked in the bottom 30 of 130 nations in the study. This might suggest that our national distaste for risk is well-founded. However, if left unchecked, our risk aversion will continue to be our entrepreneurial Achilles heel. So why is it that as a region, we're such risk-averse people? Why do we shy away from risk? I believe it's in part because when we think about entrepreneurial risk, we tend to only focus on the downside versus the upside of risk. A close examination of the term risk suggests that it refers to the effect of uncertainty on meeting organizational outcomes. However, while the effect of uncertainty as an entrepreneurial venture can be both negative and positive, we often only focus on the potential negative effects of risk and uncertainty to the exclusion of the consideration of the positive potential opportunities which risk and uncertainty can also provide. In my opinion, an entrepreneur is someone who sees the future and then sets out to create it. However, creating the future means stepping out into the uncertain and the unknown, and stepping out onto the unknown is risky. Oftentimes, however, when risk-averse entrepreneurs think of the word risk, what comes to mind are only those potential dangers, threats, and negative consequences of undertaking a venture. What if I can't pay my bills? What if a competitor beats me to the market? What if I invest a huge sum of money in the business, but I can't attract enough customers to cover my costs? I submit that this is a flawed view of the concept of risk. To the contrary, as we seek to unlock and unleash our creative and entrepreneurial potential as a region and as a nation, we need to begin to acknowledge that risk and reward are two sides of the same entrepreneurial coin. Consequently, without an active emphasis on entrepreneurial risk-taking and risk-making, we will fail to see the rewards of generating high growth, high impact, high worth entrepreneurial ventures.
Just to give you a little background in terms of what the DBJ does. The DBJ, really, the focus as a development bank is to really improve the lives of all Jamaicans through development financing, capacity building, PPPs, and privatizations. DBJ's role in building the economy, in as much as Howard just mentioned that because of factors, the state has had a big influence on the economy. DBJ's role, the philosophy behind it, is really not to be competing with the private sector or to take the place of the private sector, but really to fill the gaps where they exist. And so over the many decades, DBJ has been involved in lending through the AFIs at affordable rates when interest rates were at sky-high levels, putting in place collateral guarantees for good projects that did not have sufficient collateral to access loans. Things like Ignite program, grants for innovation, which now coming up with a reverse factoring, there is capacity building of our entrepreneurs. And the work that I'm doing, which really was focused on access to finance, access to equity finance through the Jamaica Venture Capital Program. When we established the VC program, the whole point was that we originally thought about it as being access to finance, but pretty quickly recognized that it was wider than just money. We had to be building the ecosystem. Everybody had to be ready for a market. Any market has buyers, sellers, as well as the infrastructure. We had none of those in Jamaica, so we had to be building that infrastructure. So it was really a multifaceted program that was developed, training and capacity building. Our fund managers or investors had to be trained, or fund managers or entrepreneurs, our lawyers, accountants. So there was a lot of training. We also put in place the infrastructure to build for our first funds to be started, as well as there are a number of legal, regulatory, and tax issues which have to be addressed. And most importantly, the entrepreneurs, the deal flow has to be there. So in looking at building an ecosystem, we had to be cognizant of, as I mentioned, all the various things. Who are the players? How are they going to be exiting the stock exchange? I know Marlene is going to be talking about that shortly. And, entrepreneurship, as well as what's happening with the SMEs and what is the support infrastructure. And we took a lot of lessons. We didn't reinvent the wheel. We took a lot of lessons from what happened in Latin America as they were building their private equity and venture capital ecosystems.
Do you want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and Hill Start Assist for confidence behind the wheel, plus auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
There's only one recommendation for funding that is ever going to come from me, and that is funding from a bank.
This is the cost to build, and it includes every nail and screw for the building.
Our motto is building communities, building a nation.
Get in the know with the world of real estate with Business Access TV's Home Sweet Home, Sundays at 4:30 p.m.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this. No more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
So I just wanted to just tell you real quick about the IDB Lab, just to put in context where we sit and what we are doing and how we could unlock the potential for entrepreneurship and innovation in Jamaica, even further than we are doing now. I like the way we started the panel. So we started off looking at the research, because research and development is very integral in all that we have to do as SMEs and entrepreneurs and when we're taking on innovation. We looked at the risk approach to it, smart risk taking. We also looked at our history, where we're coming from, because culturally that's still going to be ingrained in us. And then we looked at the capacity building and all the different elements that's needed. So I want to take you through unlocking that potential that's there, and first introducing you to IDB Lab. So IDB Lab is a part of the IDB Group. We serve over 650 million persons across the world. We are a part of a group with IDB Invest. IDB works with the government. IDB Invest works with private sector, and then IDB Lab works with different corporate entities, civil society, NGOs, towards solving developmental problems. I'll go back to what Mr. Mitchell had said about inclusiveness. That's what IDB is all about. We are Innovation Lab looking at inclusive solutions for Latin America and the Caribbean. We create market-driven solutions. So we look at what the market is doing, what the needs are, where the gaps are, and we work along with the private sector to create those solutions. We also look for what we call transformative impact. How do we create what we call 10x impact, greater impact than we have seen before in the projects that we're looking to do? And we're very focused on vulnerable society. This is the inclusiveness that Mr. Mitchell was talking about. Where does the poor and the disabled and those persons who don't have access to goods or services, how can we help to solve some of those problems, elevating those persons, improving their lives so that they can be contributing to the growth of the society? So I mentioned we work with private sector in creating these projects. They're the ones who are executing on the initiatives. But I'm going to start with the slide, which is the JSE Market Index. And it is an index taken from Bloomberg yesterday, which really shows that point to point from last year, this time to this year, the market index has gone up by 61.76%. And that is showing you really the power of what happens when businesses are financed and the value created at each stage. So you can see that the index speaks about companies and the value that has gone from point of last year to now is an increase of 61.7%. Year to date, 27%. I'm going to share a little bit with you as to why this could happen. But let us talk about the stock exchange group. We are 50 years today, this year, and what we did, we set out to ensure that there was confidence in the market by forming the Jamaica Central Securities Depository in 1998. And in order to broaden the services of the financial sector, in 2008, we formed the trustee division. And this is in order for persons to have confidence in the market, when we talk about funding. When we talk about access to equity capital, one of the main pillars is confidence in the market. So the idea of the stock exchange is that we can raise equity, and that is, having shareholders in your company, but also debts can be raised on the market as well. And every once in a while, we do have some simple innovations that allow for markets to grow and for persons to get money and to grow their business. And so in 2009, we created the junior market, and which shows a collaboration between government and the private sector, which offers, because persons have asked what is offered to incentivize businesses to grow, to access capital. And we have the junior market where, with the government's collaboration, we have a 10-year corporate tax holiday. We also have the support of the depository, as I said before, and we are in 40 clients in 5 CARICOM states. So we are all over the Caribbean. What is our market performance? For the main market, we have 55 companies as at June, and 55 securities and 42 companies. For the junior market, because we have the junior market, as I said, as at June, we have 41 companies. So the companies have come to market and have grown, and representing 38 securities. And we do have a US dollar market also, and that is growing too. So we can see that people are considering as a credible option the stock market to raise capital. Why would you want to go public? Public, when you talk about going public, it's a serious situation. It is one of disclosing your business to all concerned. And many persons are reluctant to do that. But more and more, we are seeing, especially small and medium sized, understanding that it is not so bad. When you come to market, you get these various benefits, enhanced profitability and viability, and assess more about this company. Is a larger pool of well-run, profitable and compliant, because compliance is important. And there is a wider pool of investors. When probably 5 or so years ago, you had less persons willing to invest in companies that come to market. So you would have probably 20, 30 investors in any what is called an IPO. Now we have thousands of companies, of investors that will invest in companies. So for those persons who are business people, don't be afraid. Persons will invest in you if you have a credible idea and a good plan. We have seen on the level of the macro level that employment has increased, and it is a sustainable economic growth because of that.
Stop for a second and think about an incentive where you get 100% relief on your corporate tax for 5 years and 50% after. And you have in excess of 2,000 companies registered at the company's office. And we only have 40 since we have opened a junior market. It speaks to a bigger issue. So I have 3 minutes and I just want to touch on 2 quick things. That bigger issue is that significantly more education needs to be given to owners of these companies. We spend too much time trying to hide revenues, etc., in so-called getting a lower tax rate, that you're impacting the value creation, the revenue expansion of your business. So we need to find a way to get to more of those entrepreneurs, to let them understand that the more you open up your company is the more you're going to make, because the tax rate is a percentage of a whole. So if that whole keeps growing, you will always get more than what the government is going to get. I'll touch quickly on the fact that, I mean, neighborhood does all these things. We take you from nowhere right up. We fund you with debt. We fund you with equity. Um, the gains have been crazy. But I close by jumping into Audrey's space because I just want to make two fundamental points. I think sometimes we don't really focus on what really matters. So the biggest issue with funding in the country is a matter of risk management. So for example, people always say, why is it easier for you to get a car loan than for you to get a, a capital item loan? And it's very, very simple. There's a secondary market for cars. So when you get a loan, the bank has to ensure its principal can be repaid in the event you don't make the payment. So they'll quickly lend you against a car because if you default on a car, there are a billion people that are willing to buy the car on a second-hand basis. But that is the secret to true funding in this country. If every sector of the economy that you want to pump funding into, you can create a secondary market, that is where you'll start to get a lot of funding. Because with all due respect, all of you guys that want money, you don't want to lose money. I don't want to lose money. The facts say that 8 out of 10 of you are going to blow up the money. That's why it is so difficult. So in my mind, the solution is create an environment that if I will invest in all 10, but the 8 that blows up, give me an incentive. Because right now it's too lopsided. I lose everything when your company blows up, and the best, if I'm lucky, that I'm going to get from you is, you know, Mr. Peart, you're a good guy. Sorry I lost all your money. But guess what? I have another idea. Can you give me some more money for that? It's not going to work. So I finally close by saying, to get these traditional investors to invest in you, you have to come up with a solution that mitigates the risk for them.
Great design is not only how things look, but also how well they work. The GLC, more than meets the eye.
Career Moves has always explored interesting careers, highlighting all you may not have known about them. This season is no different.
Coming back to Jamaica, everyone's like, fizzy what? Fizzy who?
When you find a bright boy or girl in the class and people say, what are you going to be? The parents will say, you have to go be a doctor, you have to go be a lawyer. Nobody says you have to go be a politician.
Let me see your hands!
Tune in Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Here representing my company and partnering with the Mona School of Business and Management. We at Passwich went public just a year and a half ago. And I'm here to tell you about nuts and bolts, just a few things on the nuts and bolts aspect of going public. One of the fundamental things, a few fundamental things that we had to wrestle with is going public. What is the value proposition that we are bringing to the market? You know, the space that we are in is electrical lighting, and we made a footprint for us in the LED space where that particular product, the LED product, consumes 20% of the energy that the rest of fluorescent and incandescent light systems would produce, would consume. And so we wanted Jamaica to be clear that we are we're going to be the ones to bring this value to each consumer. And so how do we bring that value to the consumer? When you walk into a store and you see an LED bulb or an LED fixture or something, being untrained, you do not know exactly the properties and how it works and so on. And so we decided, okay, we are going to have to develop a department where we give this information to you. So when you walk in, or when we call you, or when we visit you, we are going to teach you or tell you the features of using the LEDs and the benefits. And so that became a big part of the value that we brought to the market. We had to therefore acquire or employ engineers, and we call them commercial or engineers that can disseminate information in a forum that people can understand. And so we will have small meetings like these. We call them, industrial mingles, whether it be in Montego Bay, in Mandeville, in Kingston, and we invite 50 to 80 people, and we start talking to them. And before long, they start spreading the news of the value of the product that we were offering. And so we were now defining our way in the market. And in doing that, it gave us the freedom to feel more comfortable later on to go public, because now we were bringing the value that the other competitors were not bringing to the market at the time. And so you have to decide what is it you're going to take to the market. We were not manufacturing any products at that time, or we were not manufacturing them in Jamaica, because we had connections in Far East that we visited and we worked with them to manufacture them, but they were not being manufactured in Jamaica. So we wanted to set ourselves apart from the competition. So one, understand what is it you're bringing to the market and what value you give them when they are to use your goods or services before you are thinking of going public. Another thing, and Marlene and Gary touched on it, transparency. It is, my wife and I are very private people before last year. We're very private people. Nobody knew anything about us. It was so difficult for us to open all of our accounting to our senior accountant. We used to manage it. But once we decided after talking about it and thinking about it that we're going to be going public. I do not even have the code to go into my accounts department anymore, because put a system in place and you're not afraid of opening up your books or your business to the public. And so you have to decide that this is the way you want to go and that you're going to go in this way.
So I come to you to talk to you about transforming the world in Caribbean with entrepreneurship, sustainability, and innovation. It's time to turn climate change challenges into growth opportunities. I want to start today by taking a journey with you. Just as I grew up as an only child in Kingston and migrated to the U.S. in high school, think about your experiences and where in Jamaica you're from, where you lived, where you grew up, your family, and what those experiences were like, what you aspired to be, and what you were frustrated with. It is said that our upbringing and life experiences shape us, the way we look at the world and our perspective. I think about my upbringing, born in a family from the great and no longer forgotten parish of St. Thomas, and raised in a matriarchal household. I think about the days when my grandmother made soursop juice and mango juice every time I visited her. I think about those frigid cold showers and the smell of kerosene lamps, and during intermittent power outages, and buckets of water because of the water shut off. And the other things like how I still boil water to this day, no matter where in the world I'm from. I see potential innovation in the challenges in our day-to-day life. Sometimes we're missing ideas and solutions from what is right in front of us. Sometimes we accept what has been occurring as commonplace, but I encourage every one of you to disrupt this status quo. Use those challenges as opportunities for innovation. Steve Jobs said, if you're going to make connections which are innovative, you have to have not the same bag of experiences as everyone else. You're going to have to make connections, and then you won't be innovative. When you think of the most successful tech companies being created today, is either from Silicon Valley, Israel, Europe, or Asia. However, right here in Jamaica, we have exported our own brand of innovation through music, food, dance, etc., and even the pushback. It is our family experiences, the history of migration, our culture and diversity of our people that makes us special and unique. They are the ingredients for a new crop of innovations that can be utilized to address climate change challenges. I believe that sustainability and climate change is the business and economic opportunity of the century. The world is under a climate emergency. If we don't, in the next 10 years, if we don't reduce the temperature by 1.5 degrees, we will be in a serious catastrophe. According to the UN, limiting global warming means that 420 million fewer people being exposed to severe heat waves, survival of tropical reefs, loss of fewer plants and animal species, and the protection of forests and wetland habitats. Climate change affects every industry, but most notably health, agriculture, water, and food, water and energy. Because of the increased acceptance and the urgency, there has been a rapid increase of funding, governmental projects, and new startup innovations. The capital markets have also taken notice and are integrating environmental consideration, social impact, and governance into business and investment decisions. They are reallocating trillions of dollars to address this challenge. This is an enabling environment that presents an opportunity to create new products, new services, and solutions that will help and mitigate, adapt and mitigate the effects of climate change for everyone. Furthermore, because the islands in general are disproportionately affected, in some cases it gives us first mover advantage to innovate and create solutions in a small environment before scaling internationally. The time to innovate and take advantage of new business and social impact opportunity is now. We are currently feeling the effects of climate change. Last month, as many of you know, in Kingston, there was record temperatures. Kingston was not alone. In Alaska, the record temperature reached 32 degrees. In southern France, the record temperature reached 45.5 degrees Celsius. And it's just going to get hotter from here. Air conditioning is a twofold problem. It requires the use of more energy and uses chemicals that are harmful to global warming. There are hotter days coming, and there is both a need for new solutions and technologies that can keep us cool, but also reduce the effects of climate change.
You want more experience from your SUV? Introducing the 2020 Nissan X-Trail with leading-edge technology, intelligent ride and chassis control, a round view monitor, and hill start assist for confidence behind the wheel. Plus, auto headlights and panoramic sunroof. Drive the SUV with more experience. The Nissan X-Trail, available today at Fidelity Motors.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV, prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
So today I will be speaking about Airbnb, which is very topical. The emergence of Airbnb in Jamaica and some of the debates and concerns that we have. I'm going to be pointing to what I consider to be a research gap and some questions, a very brief literature review, tell you a little bit about my methodology, what I found out, and some preliminary conclusions. I want to say that this is part of a larger body of work, and it's very much still in progress. So two things, forgive me if everything isn't there, and secondly, I really welcome your comments, which will help me to, I can utilize them as I go forward. All right, so these are some of the headlines that we see, that we have seen over time. I just went to our local newspapers, and you can see there's quite a debate happening, and this happens everywhere Airbnb goes. Very few people are neutral. They either love it or they hate it. So most recently, in the last week, we have had the issue of taxation come up, and the whole issue about how much are people earning from Airbnb currently. The last comment that really caught my attention was from the JHTA, Jamaica Hotel and Tourism Association. And they're saying, tax because we need a level playing field. And what is in quotation there, you can read for yourself. But in essence, the JHA's position is that, look, these people are legitimate competitors to us, and we don't see why, if they are competing in our space, they shouldn't have to have the same, my words, burden that we have. So, what I have been noticing in this debate, there's a lot of talk, as I showed with the headlines, about Airbnb and home sharing. Airbnb, of course, is just one of the many companies, but it's a name that everybody knows. So, and it's what I'm actually focusing my work on. But there's a lot of stuff we don't know. For example, are they really unfair threats? Are they tapping into the same market as the hotels? or are they just little people trying to make some extra cash? JHTA doesn't think so, that they're little people, but how much do we really know? Do they offer similar products? And in essence, it comes down to one question: what exactly are they doing? So I have some research questions that I will show you again in a little bit. But in essence, what I'm trying to understand is from the perspective of the host. So rather than going macro, I'm actually going to go micro, because hosts are the ones who make Airbnb, make or break an Airbnb product. So that's what I will be looking at. So as I said, I'll mention these research questions in a little bit. But to just talk about the host, who is the host? Well, one definition says a good host makes his guests very happy, makes his guests happy while they're in his care. So that's in essence what a host would be required to do. But in addition to that, a host has a legal and moral obligations. So if some of us have studied hospitality law, and we know that coming back from common law, innkeeper's liability, and so on, you have the obligation to ensure that your guests are kept safe and healthy. But in addition to that, there's this moral code from many religions and traditions, meaning that you have to take the person in. In addition to that, in Jamaica, we have very strict legislation. And for a homestay, which currently Airbnb would fall under, there are 11 standards established by TPD, Tourism Product and Development Company, that have to be met. And they're currently looking at new legislation, they say. But currently, this is where it would fall. And hosts should also receive Team Jamaica training. B&B hosts, bed and breakfast hosts, are often lifestyle entrepreneurs. And that's a nice way of saying they don't necessarily do it for the money. There's a lot of romance and mystery associated with the concept of bed and breakfast. And the interesting thing with Airbnb is, it sounds like breakfast, bed and breakfast, and they're built on that notion, although they don't have to serve breakfast, and very few actually do. But remember that many of them are lifestyle entrepreneurs. And the services that they're expected to provide, they're very intimate, customer service oriented, personalized, and so on, because in many cases, you're coming into the home of the host. Airbnb now, what they say is almost anyone can be a host. That's what, if you go to their website, they will say that. But what you may not understand when you're following up on that, and they also say that there are 3 steps: list the space, decide how to host, and welcome the first guest. And that sounds really simple as 1, 2, 3. But in reality, each of those steps assumes a whole body of knowledge which everybody may not have. You have to understand how to market. You have to understand how to do your pricing according to the season, according to supply and demand, and so on. And of course, how to manage your property and to interact with guests.
This afternoon, I'm going to be presenting on Airbnb and delivering the promise of Airbnb, the promise of entrepreneurship to Jamaica. And as my colleague mentioned, Dr. Craig, about the whole issue of Airbnb, it's a very controversial topic now. To tax or not to tax, those are the issues. But today for my presentation, I'm going to be providing and sharing some data with you about Airbnb's performance in Jamaica in particular. And please note that this is a part of a larger body of study. I'm actually studying Airbnbs not only in Jamaica, but also in Cuba and Cayman Islands and Bahamas. So the sample that you're seeing me extrapolate data from is a part of a wider body of knowledge that is also currently ongoing and in process. So as you can see, it's the whole business of home sharing. So the idea is not lost upon us. And another thing that we want to drive home is that the whole notion of Airbnb is really not new to the Jamaican tourism industry, Caribbean tourism industry by extension. We've always opened our homes to guests. It's just the way in which we're doing it is different. And technology has created a platform that allows for greater access to persons who are also seeking this kind of intimate relationship and more authentic experiences. So we're going to get into Again, some of the controversy I also took from the headlines because it's so topical. And as you can see, there's so many issues coming out. How many guests we're actually welcoming, uh, where they're going, who are they staying with, to tax or not to tax. That's also a big question that is trying to be answered now. So it's very topical. But again, just to frame and contextualize it, the Airbnb is a wider, it's a part of the wider sharing economy. And I love that term, as you mentioned, the Uberification, is it? Yes, fantastic. Because really that's what it is. It stems from these radical innovations that allow people to make extra money. That's really what it is. So I looked at the literature again from sources and what persons are saying about the sharing economy, which we're now a part of. And that is why everybody's trying to get their slice of the pie. So, Botsman in particular had mentioned that it's very hard for us to define in totality what the sharing economy is. However, Ryan and Botsman in 2017 and 15 respectively looked at it from calling it a collaborative economy, the on-demand services economy, the gig economy, the freelance economy. So if you hear any of these terms, they're all used interchangeably. And basically, it refers to the sharing activity of underutilized assets with the help of IT-based technology. So it's nothing new. It's just again the platform in which we're presenting it is a little different. So the main drivers towards this economy. How did it emerge and why are we here and why is it so important to us? The main drivers is basically consumer behavior. We're switching now from ownership to access. Now, I'm a part of a very unique group of consumers and producers called the millennials, and there are a few in this room. And we're kind of changing and shaping the way in which we consume things. So we're looking less to ownership rather, and more to access. And that is what is causing all these radical innovations to take place right across our landscape, and in particular in tourism. Now, the biggest success factors of the sharing economy is online reputation. And my colleague again, Anne Crick, also mentioned, the feedback system and rankings in terms of hosts and super hosts and all of that. Very important for us to look at. So these are some of the brands that come about under the sharing economy: Uber, Airbnb, Homestay, Lyft, WeWork, all of these, Craigslist, Couchsurfing, all of them are part of the sharing economy. So peer-to-peer accommodation, this is where people provide accommodation directly to consumers using a digital platform. And these are temporary stays in the homes. Airbnb in particular for P2P accommodation, most people call it Airbnb, but there are also other platforms that are very much relevant to us and is affecting the Jamaican tourism accommodation landscape: TripAdvisor, HomeAway, and also Booking.com. Now, just to share some data with you, globally, peer-to-peer accommodations, they're 7% of total accommodation around the world, 8 million beds. It's estimated that the number of transactions that took place was actually 75 billion US in 2017. And the trends and findings, again, the millennials are the ones who are driving this form of innovation. And also, it is not limited to budget travelers. It's not just about cheap travel, but efficient travel as well. And it was initially for the leisure market, but we find from my studies that the business traveler is also another trending market. So for entrepreneurs who are trying to get into Airbnb, an aspect that you could look at in terms of growth is catering to the needs of the business traveler. So Jamaica, what is happening with Jamaica, and what does it mean for us going forward? Jamaica was chosen as one of the countries for a pilot study by the World Bank in 2018. So they came to the Ministry of Tourism and they wanted to study peer-to-peer accommodations in the Caribbean, and Jamaica was the country chosen. But why is the World Bank interested in peer-to-peer accommodation? It is said that it can help to eliminate poverty, boost shared prosperity, and also its contributions for income generation for a broader group of people, in particular women, which I'll be looking at tomorrow. So in Jamaica, just to put things into perspective, there is over 5,000 active listings on Airbnb in Jamaica, 7,600 in total. So that's a recent statistics that's coming from Airbnb. So we have 7,600 hosts, 5,000 active, which means they're actually getting bookings and doing well. TripAdvisor Rentals also has 2,300 listings. HomeAway has 950 listings, and Booking.com has 1,124. So it's not just Airbnb, but it's just that Airbnb is one of the platforms that has seen the most growth throughout the years.
Thanks for staying with us for coverage of the Mona School of Business and Management's 4th Business Conference. You're watching Business Access TV, serious about business.
It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test. It's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, it's Island Hour, free eye test.
Free eye testing is back and it's here to stay. Island Eyewear offers free eye testing every day, all day at all locations island-wide. Conditions apply. Make your appointment today at www.islandeyewear.com or call us 630-1180. Island Eyewear, your style, your price.
It's Island Hour, free eye test.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
The business community has suffered tremendously due to extortion. Some have not just lost their businesses, their jobs, but lost their lives. This is extremely impactful to the growth of our country and to the progress of our people. We are our brother's keeper. Let's put a stop to this. No more use of force. No more use of fear. No more extortion. No more.
The outdoors are full of all sorts of exciting things to do, and I hope you're into nature and all things that the wild has to offer, because on this episode of Chill Spot, we'll be visiting J. Charles Swaby's Black River Safari. That's right, we'll be hanging out with the crocodiles, but we'll also be hanging out with Carrie Ann Stimson, Group Marketing Manager at JMMB. So don't go anywhere, more Chill Spot after this. Hi, Kerry.
Hi, Candy.
Good to see you.
This is my husband, Stuart.
Hi, Stuart. Candy, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So, Kerry, what makes you choose the Black River Safari as your chill spot?
Well, it's far from Kingston and it's different and it's a perfect place to just really chill. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. It's great.
And what are the activities that we're going to be doing today?
Well, we're going to basically just be going on a ride on the boat down the river, see what the view is like, look at the ecosystem that exists here.
Okay, and the crocs aren't going to eat me?
No.
Or try to bite me?
They look kind of dangerous. I wouldn't suggest you jump in and have a swim, right? But you'll be fine. You'll be fine. They're kind of used to the visitors coming.
Okay.
Okay, Candy, ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Assuming no crocodiles eat me.
Come on, we're good. Mr. Swaby, thank you for having us again here today.
It's my pleasure.
And I'd like to introduce you to my friend Candy.
Hi, Mrs. Swaby. Nice to meet you.
Too.
Excited for the tour.
Good. I'm sure you'll enjoy.
All right, let's go. So, Mr. Swaby, tell me about the Black River Safari. How long has it been around, and talk to us a little about the tour?
The Black River Safari was actually started in 1987, which was when we formed our company. And our first tour went out on the 17th of January 1988. Wow. And since then, we have been taking visitors up the river, basically from all over the world, from Europe, from Africa, from the Caribbean, from England, everywhere.
Okay, and what can we anticipate to see as we go up the river?
Well, you'll be seeing animals like that, crocodiles in their natural habitat, although lying on a dock isn't all that natural anymore. But you'll see them lying all about. You'll see birds, as you can see. We have some egrets there as well. And it's something that people look forward to seeing. It's a little different from just the sea, sand and sun of the north coast. This is the south coast.
What about the impact on the community here? Do you hire a lot of persons from the Black River community?
This tour has done a lot for the economy of the area. All of our workers are from, I would say, a radius of 5 miles of Black River. And one has to bear in mind that when visitors come here, they have lunch here at one or more of the restaurants. There are vendors who sell craft items, people who sell coconuts, and there are the gas stations from which the buses that bring them here fill up their tanks to go back and so on. So it has benefited the whole of the community.
And then what about the ecosystem of this area?
Well, I think that what has happened is that people have started to look at crocodiles in a different light. Before this, everybody was terrified about crocodiles, and for no real reason. Now they're seeing that crocodiles are not just going to gobble you up, and that people will come and see these crocodiles time and time again. There are people who come and do the tours and they send us back cards asking how is Big George or how is Charlie and so on. Our captains name the different animals, you know. So that is one of the good things about it.
Well, so far it seems very peaceful and serene, so I'm excited to see the activity as we...
Yes, you'll enjoy it. It's a little bit warm now, so you'll not see as many birds as you normally would when it's cooler in the afternoon or early morning. But it's sunning time for the crocodiles now, so hopefully we should be seeing some of those.
We saw quite a few already. So.
Oh yes, and I'm sure you enjoyed that.
Do you have any idea about how many crocodiles would be in this water?
There are possibly about 300 adults in this area. Market is about 8,000 acres of land.
So So, Stuart, how are you enjoying the tour so far?
It's nice. Having a good time. It's very cool, relaxing, and I suppose you're on a river like this. It's very serene. You know, it takes your mind to an easier spot. Hustle and bustle of a regular day.
So, Kerry, what's your interest in wildlife?
Well, I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't have much of a heavy interest in wildlife. But why I would like a place like this is not so much for the wildlife, but because it's very different and unique. You know, typically when you think of getting away, especially you live on the stereotypical island of Jamaica, it's beaches, and sun, sand, and sea. This is quite different, and because it's different, it tends to do a better job, I think, of kind of transporting you to another place where you can really just get away from it all. And it's nice. I just love it.
That's exactly how I feel, actually. Coming up, what would you say drives you to do what you do?
I'm very goal-oriented. What really turns me on, I should say, is just the opportunity to get a target and hit it and check the box.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
We are back with another exciting, innovative, and inspiring season.
It takes a lot of stick-to-itiveness, being consistent and persistent in whatever you're doing. That's the bottom line.
Business exists to add value to people's lives. And if we're not doing that, might as well back down the store and just call it a day.
It's a season 3 of Creating Wealth, Mondays at 8 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
So, Kerry, you're currently the Group Marketing Manager for JMMB. Tell us a little about what led to this role. What other jobs have you had previously?
Well, I've always been in marketing, and I've always actually been largely in marketing in the financial services sector. So DBNG would have been my first major foray into that, the former Daring Bunting and Golding. And then after that, I was with First Global, the part of the Grace Kennedy Group. And while at First Global, I saw this opportunity at JMMB and applied, and the rest is history.
And what would you say your role as Group Marketing Manager actually entails on a day-to-day?
Well, on a day-to-day, I mean, of course, it can be anything, but generally my responsibility is managing marketing for the group, which entails not just the Jamaican market, but also oversight into the Dominican Republic and Trinidad, where we also have a presence, with the support of a great team, of course.
Are there any projects that you'd like to mention that you've worked on?
Well, quite a few. I mean, too many to mention. I mean, the past year has been especially busy for us. You know, we launched a new campaign last year, Easy as JMMB, and our agency won quite a few awards for the campaign, and we're very happy about that. And we are known for planning a lot of unique events as well, as a way of educating everybody about financial planning and financial management. So experiential type events that educate people about not just finances, but about life as well.
And what about any upcoming projects? Would you like to share any of those with us?
Well, don't want to give away too much of the
Right.
goods, but we are going through a lot as an organization. As we would have shared, our intention is to move into the commercial banking space in Jamaica eventually once we get the requisite approval. But also in the Dominican Republic and Trinidad, there's a lot going on there as well. We're rebranding our commercial bank in Trinidad to become JMMB Bank.
Nice.
And there's a lot going on, so we're quite busy.
Okay, and what about any achievements or awards that you've received?
I actually don't even keep a checklist too often.
Okay, well, I guess
as-
when you get so much, you don't have to keep a
Well,
checklist.
perhaps not as much as I'd like. But when we do win, as I mentioned earlier, advertising awards and campaign awards, that's always gratifying.
Right.
But for me, it's really about the day-to-day targets that we set and how we hit them.
Right.
So whenever you do something and you see it reflected in the awareness of the brand and people's affection to the brand, to me, that's the ultimate satisfaction to
very
know that what
fulfilling.
you're doing is working.
What would you say you look forward to the most about your job?
It's the creativity part, for
Okay.
sure. Just the opportunity to just get a blank slate and just come up with something completely out of the blue that's unique, that's distinct, and really makes the brand stand out. That's what gets me excited about my job every single time.
Talk to us about your team and how you would describe yourself as a manager.
I've really been blessed with a great team and we have a great relationship. For me, as a leader, yes, there's the traditional definition of what a leader is, but specifically I see myself as an enabler of the team's success. So it's really about allowing them to be the best that they can be, remove roadblocks, and just provide the necessary guidance, coaching,
Right.
access to resources that they need to just be the best that they can be. And I think it's worked very well.
What would you say drives you to do what you do?
I'm very goal oriented, and what really turns me on, I should say, is just the opportunity to get a target and hit it and check the box. For me, unchecked boxes make me very nervous, and so I'm very driven by the opportunity to just
Smash a
hunker down.
goal.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what works for me. And once I hit the goal, nothing could be sweeter.
Do you have any other professional pursuits right now?
Unfortunately, not at the moment, but I do get to do some kinds of community service work as well, through church-based organizations and so on every now and again, and through my alma mater, high school. So from time to time I get to do that, but that's it for now.
So with all of that going on, how do you manage to balance your time?
I'm going to be very honest with you. I don't say I balance my time. I really just make it work, right? Because balancing suggests that you can do it all.
But you are doing it all.
I just don't call it balance because, at some point something has to give.
Right.
And so invariably there are days when you're at the desk, the phone is ringing and you get a call that your 2-year-old has a 104-degree temperature and you need to come now.
You have to go.
That's it. The work stops, you go to the child, and vice versa. There are nights I won't even get to put them to bed because I'm working late. But it's about giving yourself the permission to know that, hey, that's how it is. You give, you take, and it's just doing what you have to do to make it work, and we make it work.
And what would you say are your professional goals for the future?
Well, professionally for the future, I do continue to see myself in a marketing role, in a senior capacity. I believe that once my kids get older and a little bit more independent, my dream job actually is to teach. I come from a line of teachers, so I believe teaching is in my blood. And so if I do get the opportunity to do that part-time or on the weekends, however that works, I would really love to do that in the future as well.
And what one tip would you give to others who are aspiring to be in a position like yours?
I would say it's about working hard enough to stand out. And standing out doesn't necessarily always mean that you get the highest grades in the class, although that always helps. But it's about defining your personal brand and throwing 110% behind everything that you're doing. Because once you stand out and once people remember you for something and something that's good and something that's positive, then it really makes the journey that much easier for you whatever trajectory you decide to take off on.
Well, that's very insightful, and I like what you said about being a teacher, because I can tell that you're an excellent communicator just having this discussion with you.
Thank you.
But that being said, I think lunch is up next.
Absolutely. Let's go.
Coming up. Talk to us about Stuart. How did you guys meet? Or maybe I should ask Stuart that question. How did you guys meet?
A Bible study.
I needed to make sure that what he's saying is accurate. Eh?
He's doing well
okay,
so far.
All right.
He knows he has to go home.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
All right, Kerry, so we want to discuss a little about your personal life. Before we get to the juicy stuff, because it looks like there are some juicy things, let's talk about how you were raised and where you were raised.
Born and raised in Kingston. I have a great mom and dad, and I am one of two girls. I'm actually the older of two girls.
Okay.
I have a baby sister. She's 2 years younger than I am.
Okay, and talk to us about Stuart. How did you guys meet? Or maybe I should ask Stuart that question. How did you guys meet?
A Bible study.
Is that?
On the 3rd of March 1998.
I needed to make sure that what he's saying is accurate. Eh?
He's doing well
okay,
so far.
All right.
He knows he has to go home.
All right, and what other details can you tell us about that?
Essentially, that day her true self came out. Very warm, engaging, and she had us chatting for easily, I feel like I was on profile, for about 45 minutes. And I remember leaving, a friend of mine said, I think she liked you. And I said, no, she couldn't. A big woman, she couldn't like me. And then history, rest is history.
So wait, you're actually older than he is?
Just
by a few.
He likes older women, I like.
Well, that works out.
Totally works.
And how long have you guys been married now?
May will be 10 years.
10 years?
10 years.
Can't tell by looking.
I can't, I really can't. So you have children?
Yes. We
Tell us
have
about them.
2 little girls, Hannah and Sarah. They're 4 and 2, respectively.
No, they're going to be 5 and 3. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, right.
That's 5 and 3 this year.
That's more accurate.
Their birthdays are
And
coming
they-
up and they're counting it down.
Yes, and they keep us on our toes, to say the least.
And knees if you have to pray.
And I know I spoke to Kerry a little bit about this earlier, but as a couple, how would you say you guys manage the work life and the family life and whichever other lives you guys may have?
The alter egos?
Maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think many years ago I remember working in a firm and this particular partner in the firm gave me very sage advice. He said he booked his family time like meetings.
Okay.
So he decided that, listen, you have standing appointments and you're just not available.